All right, it's the show.
Number 8.
Live and in person. So let's hit it up. Do you know that there's a new Olympic event this year? This new Olympics? Have you heard? Have you heard the news?
This is wild.
I wonder. It usually takes a few minutes for our fans to get on there, but I wonder if they know the news.
I highly unlikely.
The new Olympic event. No, it's not football, folks. No. It's one that maybe we'll be pretty good at, actually, I'm guessing, since we invented it.
I just can't believe it.
Yeah. So breakdancing is now an Olympic event. I think they brought wrestling back, right? Wrestling got brought back after they were taking it away, but now they brought it back. The fact that wrestling that's been around since since ancient Greece they tried to remove it because they said it wasn't popular anymore. Although I know where it is popular. It's popular in 2 main countries. The United States is one of them, and Russia is, my guess, is the other one, right? Very popular.
I think a lot of those Eastern European countries.
And they're not they want to spread those Olympic medals out a little bit. So the dominance. So they decided to take away something that was won medals wise by a lot of times Russians and Americans, I guess. But they brought it back because there was such popularity. So instead, or I shouldn't say instead, but in the Olympics this year, you will have breakdancing. So,
is that breakdancing?
Was that breaking?
I don't know.
That was me popping and locking.
Oh my God. I don't know. I think that's whatever. Certain things that are deemed sports nowadays are deemed sports, whatever. If you want to get it in there and somebody's going to win a medal, go for it. But it's not something I'm going to set my TV timer on to watch. That's for sure.
What Olympic sport do you think? And we're going to get into the Cowboys. Don't worry, we're going to get into Ohio State today. We're going to get into, I really want to talk about some, how FCS teams that are playing in the spring and kind of what effect we think that'll have in recruiting. I think it's kind of an interesting thing in spring ball, and because everything's going to be a little messy this year, right? So I want to talk a little bit about that. But I do want to explore this topic because I want to figure out what sports me and Derek have a chance to play still.
Oh my God, that ship has sailed, bro. Come on.
If any, what could we play? And just in case, I wish I could zoom this in, but
I think I'm done.
You don't think there's anything you do?
Absolutely not. I would have to make a miraculous change.
Well, all right. Let's see if there's any,
and probably a few surgeries to make things right.
Sport climbing is a sport. Is that like sport climbing is in the Olympics? Is that like mountain climbing? What is that?
What's the one where you ski and then you shoot and then you ski and then you shoot?
Modern pentathlon. I think that would be the only thing if you got slim. Shooting, you definitely would have a chance if you got trained. No, I just probably wouldn't because there's probably marksmen that are unbelievable.
Yeah, I don't think I have the eyes for it.
Handball?
No, you have to be freaking.
You got to be
physically fit.
You got to be able to jump. You got to be able to jump too.
Yeah, I can't jump.
No, beach volleyball, 3-on-3 basketball.
Oh, Daniel Farina says curling.
Curling. That's winter. We go to winter sports. So, first of all, basketball 3-on-3 is a sport in the Olympics.
I can't. I don't even know.
Is that because they feel like maybe someone would have a chance at winning besides America if they?
Well, that's because there's a 3-on-3 pro league now.
Rugby's an Olympic sport?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. Maybe I knew that. Sailing. Skateboarding. Not X Games. Skateboarding. Table tennis. Those guys are great. There's no way we have a shot there.
You guys are nasty.
They're nasty. Those guys are freaks with the tennis. Curling is definitely a chance. Bobsled,
No.
The skeleton.
You have to be extremely explosive.
The skeleton, no. That's like a
I don't care if you're talking winter, summer, dude, we're done. It's over.
I think curling's your only shot.
My shot. You're that. What do you just want a medal? I want to just coach something. I just want to go to one.
Maybe you could do figure skating.
I don't think I'd look good in tights.
Did I ever tell you my surfing story?
You tried to surf?
Yes. At 280. So,
Whoa.
oh, no, you know what? I don't know if I was 280. I'm 280 now. I might have been like 260, 250.
That's been on my bucket list.
Guy.
I wanted to surf because I don't know. I would just love to sit out there in the middle of the ocean and just float.
Yeah.
Plus, I'm sure it would take you to some cool places.
Oh, I love this. Dan Farina, can't wait until a scandal drops that Russia's implanting titanium into the heads of their breakdancing athletes for competitive advantage. That definitely deserves a post. Look at all those children that this man's got there. Three guys. I think all boys. No, is it 3 boys, Dan? Yeah. So pretty.
Send them south.
Yeah, send them south. Well, he'll have them going to Becton. So okay. So I guess what was it you just said there about my surfing story here. So here's the surfing story. You ready? So I used to take these like vacations. Oh, he's got one girl. I used to take these vacations before camp. We give it like the year before pre-pandemic, we'd always have a week, right? So for many years when I was on my own, I would take like 4 or 5 days to go somewhere. So one year I went to San Diego. And when I do this, I go on like little excursions. That's what I used to do, little excursions. So I was
days are long gone, bro.
Yeah, I know. So I get to my hotel. I as soon as I get in there, I search. I don't know if I searched on the internet, whatever. And I said, La Jolla Surf Club. Yeah, I'd like to get surfing lessons. Can someone give me surfing lessons tomorrow? And they were like, how old are you? How big are you? So I come down to La Jolla, which is like beautiful. I don't know if you're
gorgeous.
Cliffs. It's just gorgeous, right? I come on there. Never surfed in my life. I could swim good, but never surfed. And my instructor is about 16 years old. And as I'm coming up, yeah, maybe he's 18, but he looked like he was 6. He looked like he was a kid. So as I'm coming up, though, all I saw were kids, 5 years old, 6 years old, 7 years old, all surfing. Okay. Like legitimate surfing. I see them getting on the board, going. I'm like,
killing it.
I'm like, if these 6-year-olds can do it, I can do
it. No problem. I played Division I football. I ran track and field. I'm an athlete. All right, so let me see what I can do.
Yeah. So then we go.
No way.
He goes, well, you got to put a wetsuit on. He goes, oh, I don't think we have, like, he's looking, he's like, I don't think we got a wetsuit that's going to fit you. I said, shit.
Bad start.
I'm not shocked by that. So he goes to like, there's like tents of surf stations. Like, I guess each one's like a different, like, I don't know. Surf school, right. So he goes to this other surf school. Let's say, let's call it Shark Surf School, right? So he goes over there and he finds one and he gives it to you, puts it on. I felt like I literally was a whale, number one. That was the first thing. I thought, wow, look at me. I have a whale. Like, everyone must be looking at it like, look at this whale in the suit. Okay? That was the first thing I thought. At the time, I was 250 pounds. I wasn't feeling, like that big yet. And then, so we go, and now he's got to get a board for me. He's like, that board. No. He comes out with this thing. It might as well have been a boat. Okay. I'm like, how do you think I'm going to get on this thing? He's like, well, you're big and you're strong. You could probably get on there. All right. So we go out. We go to like the sand, and this is literally what he does. He basically just shows me how to pop up, and we're working on these pop-up things on the sand. And you might have seen it if you watched Point Break. Remember Keanu Reeves?
Right.
Point Break when he's learned kind of similar. I figured that out pretty quick.
What college did he play football at in Point Break?
Johnny Utah. My guess is Ohio State.
Oh man! All right, good.
Am I right?
Yeah.
I'm not. Listen, trivia's gonna be hard.
See, we slip football in here no matter where.
You got. So then he goes to me. He goes, all right, we're ready for the water. Like we were doing this for 10 minutes. I'm like, wait a minute, we're just gonna jump. Like
we're going right in.
Like, so he's like, don't worry, I'll hold the board for you to start. So we go out and we're out there.
All right, buddy.
And he's holding the board, and he's like, all right, when the next wave comes, I'll say go, and you're gonna try and get up on it. I was like, what? So we're out there.
Things happen.
Wave comes. I start paddling. He's kind of like guiding me. And then I get up. I mean, I don't even get up. Like it's just crash, right? I'm like, what? This is what I'm paying for? Like, can I get like some instruction? He's like, you got to use your hips and you got to get on there quick. So we go.
Thanks, buddy.
I try to get on there. Okay, mind you, he weighed about 130 pounds soaking wet at like 6 feet. Okay. Here I am, 120 pounds.
Surfer body.
Yeah. So he gets in. He goes, watch me. I go, boom. He gets up, surfs his way in. I'm like, okay. You've probably been surfing since you were 2. And he just does. So now I go back out there. I'm doing it. An hour and a half later, this takes an hour and a half. Okay. An hour and a half later.
No time limit on these lessons.
My hips are burning. Like my quads are killing me. But I'm like, I'm getting up. I don't care. Like I basically got no instruction, but I'm getting up on this damn thing. So finally, an hour and a half goes by. Maybe it might have been 2 hours. We go. I get up, go right down. I finally get up, like basically 1,000, 2,000 down. Finally, when I go down again, I finally get up. It's basically 5 or 6 seconds. And he's like, all right, you got up. You want to come and do it again tomorrow? I'm like, that's it? Like, I just got up. He's like, yeah, if you want to come back tomorrow, then we could go and some more. I go back. I don't remember what I did. I went and got dinner. I went out or whatever. And the next morning, I got up. I couldn't get out of bed.
Sore.
So sore from my abs, my ribs, my low back, my hips, and my hip flexors.
Stuff you've never used.
I have never used any of these things. I mean, I'm like, wait a minute. I ran track. I definitely used my hip flexors and football. I never used them like this. It was crazy. I was in so much pain. I actually booked an appointment. I had to get a massage before I. that was my surfing. Never to surf again.
Listen, similar story with me. My first time snowboarding, bro. Same thing, dude. I felt so bad. My cousin is like, he's like guru snowboarder, moved to California, lived at, Mammoth Mountain for a while. You know what I mean? Like did that whole thing. So I'm like, look, bro, you're teaching me how to snowboard. I don't trust anybody else. We went. I felt bad. It was probably 2 hours to get down the mountain one time. And I'm just telling you, I couldn't move for days.
It's crazy, man. Like
just different muscles, man, different stuff that we never used. And that's why, not just, one being competitive, to stay competitive and keep that competitive fire, but playing other sports, man, works different muscles and different things that you need that are important. That's why we preach playing different sports. You're not using the same stuff all the time. And that's a prime example. Like you look at you and I, like we played football, ran track, did all that stuff, but it's still like you go out there and you surf. I go out there and snowboard and you're using different muscles. You're using different things. It's amazing how the body works like that. It's crazy.
Craziness. So you watched the Cowboys game last night, right?
Lamar Jackson, baby.
Or should I call it the
They are so bad.
The Cowboys, my Cowboys.
Although it was nice to see our boy Noah Brown get a catch.
No, he's still with the Cowboys. That's great.
He's been there for a hot minute.
Yeah, he Noah Brown. Oh, he had 3 catches.
Pope John prospect. Pope John graduate, Ohio State kid, left early, been with the Cowboys since. I think that's his only team.
So Lamar Jackson, 3 touchdowns accounted for, 94 yards rushing, 107
first touchdown of the game, bang, right up the middle.
Running. And
I'm telling you, he made, I don't know his name, you probably will, Cowboys linebacker, number 55, wears the neck collar.
Van Esch or
made him look silly.
Really?
He bit on the play fake coming across so bad. He was in the opposite C gap, maybe D gap, and Lamar just bye-bye. And you ain't catching that dude once he sticks his foot in the ground.
No.
And unfortunately, Dez Bryant, he's out there going through warm-ups, yada, yada. They come out, they tell him, sorry, bro, you tested positive for corona.
Yeah, I heard he just packed it in for the year after that.
That's what he tweeted, but I think he was in an emotional state. I don't know if that's going to stick. I think it might have been one of those heat of the moment type of things. You know what I mean? I'd hate to see him end it or go out like that. I know this was a big game. He tweeted again today. Like it wasn't about getting back at the Cowboys. It was just about kind of like proving that still worth something. Maybe you got rid of me too early, something like that. I'm sure deep down inside he wanted to just rip them, because that's how I would feel if I was him. But it's unfortunate for him. But
yeah,
Baltimore looked good.
I was a Janet Jackson.
I love her.
Dez Bryant fan, but he just at the end he was just more. I don't know.
The juice was not worth the squeeze.
Yeah, it wasn't worth it. All right, Lamar Jackson, the first one you're talking about.
What are you talking about? This is against the Eagles.
Oh, I'm sorry. What am I doing?
It is. It's the exact same play, though.
It is. That's why. Hold on. Here it is.
Watch your boy look silly.
This has to be it. Is this it?
Yep. Yeah, I think so.
Same exact play. Exact play. It's just
look at it. Look at him look so silly. You run it again.
Let's diagnose this play.
Watch your boy. So they're obviously man to man.
Trip swing.
Yeah, you're obvious, but look, you're man to man, so you're screwed already.
Yep.
And just watch your linebacker. It looks like I think he's playing the.
Oh, this is. This is.
I think they called it gut.
Yeah, this is tackle and guard pull, so wrap around.
So watch, you got the kick out,
yep.
But you got the wrap around. But look,
I almost gave away our name for the play. That's why I was That's why I was hesitating because
I was reading off of what somebody else called it.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying I almost called it what we call it.
I was going to say, oh my God. I said, we don't have that.
Yeah, we do.
Well, I know we do, but we don't call it that.
No. All right, there we go.
Look at your boy.
Kick out.
Look at your boy at linebacker.
Oh my God, where is he going?
Sorry, buddy.
How about reading your keys?
Ladies and gentlemen, this is why you ride the fake.
Here's the guard. The guard is going to the right.
This is why he initially does it.
Oh my God.
And if he just slips over the top of this, he's right there. Or one of these guys should be there. Right? Because if the tackle now takes what looks like the safety that's rolled down into the box.
So you know what? Now I don't know if they run it this way. This might be an automatic run for him, but a great way to run this just for your coaches out there. So with this play right here, which is because
I believe that's Jalen Smith up top.
So you read the end man on the line. If the end man on the line comes up the field, you carry it. If the end man on the line crashes, you give it.
You give it.
Yep.
But watch your linebacker, man. This is This is an NFL linebacker, not somebody who's just.
Right. And there's no reason for him to do that because he's taking care of if his read is he takes care of the if he gets a pull, he takes care of contain. The contained man has the jet.
And here's the point I want to make because look, when you can play, when you're playing against a running quarterback, it is tough to go zero coverage. When you're man-to-man coverage in the back end, this is what happens. If this guy breaks through that first and second level, lights out. There is no one there to help. And you can't account for this guy.
Oh.
And he just sticks his foot in the ground and good night. You ain't
He's like,
even if there's a safety there. So now, even if there's a safety there, you have a one-on-one with Lamar Jackson in space. No, thank you.
No, I accidentally did it, but I want to look quickly at how the Eagles. Was it the Eagles? Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead. So look, same type of thing.
Same play, same exact play,
and look, same coverage.
This guy, yep, he takes him here. Actually, he probably could have gave if he wanted, but that is what makes me think it's an auto pull. Okay, they are in zero coverage. Looks like, right?
There's nobody over the top.
It's zero.
Look, it's 100% zero.
Learned their lesson. This had to be earlier in the year, and I actually pulled it up by accident because I was looking for the Dallas, and I looked.
But Dallas obviously doesn't study much.
Are you kidding me?
Fire the quality control guy.
Quality control.
Fire who's ever watching film and drawing up play cards.
Oh my goodness. It's this same exact play.
Only they're going the other way now. They're not going to the pullers. They're going away from them.
So what does that mean? So up top for the Ravens, they're like, when we get zero coverage,
this is what we're doing.
Whatever they call this for them. Gut or GT. They might call it GT power. They probably call it GT power. It's probably QB GT power. So QB GT power because Oklahoma runs this all the time. They ran a lot of this with Kyler Murray.
This is just a matter of him, rather than follow his puller. Like, look, he just finds a different hole. See, but good night. Bye-bye.
Unbelievable. The Cowboys made the exact same
mistake. Even happens in the NFL, ladies and gentlemen.
The exact – I'm going to throw up. The exact same mistake. By the way, I had to break the news to my son that the Jets actually lost that game. Meltdown yesterday when I told him. Hit a meltdown. He said to me, he goes, "What?" I said, I'm sorry. Like he was telling he was starting to tell his friend. I hear him. He's like, "Yeah, the Jets won yesterday," and his friend was like, "Are you sure, Troy?" Because his friend, his buddy's a couple years older than him, and he's a big sports kid. And so Troy's like trying to, he's connecting with him, right? And I'm like, Troy, I have to tell you this because I don't want you to feel like, you're having a conversation with him. I don't want him to think that you didn't pay attention. We turned it off. The Jets blew it. They lost. He's like,
there's no way. There's no way, as you being a Cowboys fan, there's no way you could raise him as a Jets fan.
I'll raise
any adult who's having children at this point. How can you possibly allow your child to be a Jets fan?
Well,
I'm not talking.
The law of averages tell you at some point in the next 20 years.
That's what the Red Sox thought too since the 1920s and the curse of the Bambino. How long did it take them?
70 years, man.
The Chicago Cubs. How long did it take them?
It did take a long time, but they did win.
Come on, man. You can't.
I mean, I personally don't care. So,
well, and I think this is what I get this a lot because I don't affiliate with a team. I'm not a fan of anybody. When people ask me who's your favorite team, my response is always, I just like football.
I do like the Cowboys because I grew up with it. So
if
I'm less of a fan than I was. I used to be much.
If I had to affiliate with a team, I guess you could say that I'm always going to side because, like you said, you were raised, you grew up with, you knew the Cowboys.
Right.
I was raised as a Miami Dolphin fan because that was the undefeated team, the Zonka era. That's how those were the teams that my father grew up looking at. So that's how I was raised a Miami Dolphins fan. But if I had to associate with a team right now and somebody said like, hey, who's your favorite team? I wouldn't say anybody. I like individuals. I like players, but more so I just like the game itself. I mean, people look at it and say, hey, you had Jets season tickets. Like, yeah, I had Jets season tickets, but I liked Rex Ryan. Like and I like the fact that I got to go see other teams, not just a Jets, you know what I mean? Not just the Jets. I went more so for the teams that they were playing. So people always look at me like, that's kind of weird, but I respect fans that are logical. I can't stand like fanatics who insist that their team is always good or something like that, and they just don't see the logic in them. Like, I respect fans that say like, we suck. We're bad, Some people always try to make excuses, this and that. Like Giants fans, like some of those people are the most interesting people in the world. Like, I get it. All right, you won a Super Bowl against an undefeated team, great. Like, you won another one whenever. Those were good runs, but like, I don't know, man. Fans just get me every single time. I love the dedication, I love the passion for a team, but sometimes you got to look at the big picture and say, damn, that other guy was pretty good.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Can you believe that the NFL claimed copyright when we showed the clip? Yeah, what clip did we show yesterday?
Why we got in trouble?
No, we didn't get in trouble, but they demonetized it because of copyright. NFL, grow up.
That would put us on the map, though.
Grow up.
Wait, so what happened? We showed a clip.
We're talking about your business. Let's not go into it.
But what happened? So we showed a clip and they said you can't show it?
Well, you could show it, but you can't monetize off of it, I guess. But what
does that mean?
Like, they can't show ads off of it, I guess. So,
Like, they don't make enough money.
Maybe they're hurting.
The NFL took over God's day for goodness sakes.
Nobody, including the NFL, takes over God's day. All right. Let's see. So yeah,
I got one for you.
The Cowboys, Dalton played good yesterday.
Look, I don't think Dalton's a very bad. Like, I don't think he's a bad quarterback.
No defense.
You got to understand. He played in Cincinnati for how many years? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm sorry, but the guy never really got to. It's the same way I feel about Sam Darnold right now. I get so upset for these guys that are good quarterbacks. And people say, they haven't developed, they haven't done this. Well, have they had an opportunity to? What weapons have you provided them with to work?
Are the Cowboys bad because the DBs are bad? Or is it their D-line is also bad? Like, I thought Neville Gallimore and who am I thinking of?
So, obviously, you know my philosophy because I work with you firsthand. As a defensive coordinator, I want to build my defense from the front, right?
Yeah, right.
I need a D-line to be successful.
They don't have a.
If I don't have some daddies up front, that means now my linebackers are affected, and so we're already starting each play -3 yards because they've already smashed my guys up front. That's a problem. When you can work up front and you have guys that can control that line of scrimmage, that changes everything. Now, look, would I love to have a shutdown corner? Absolutely. Would I love to have a linebacker that could run sideline to sideline? Yeah, but those guys are only as good as those guys up front. So that's the way I look at it. So I think you got to build your defense from the front back. And I don't think that the Cowboys can do that because, I mean, if you look at it, they have some they got Jalen Smith, they got some good linebackers, but if those guys have offensive linemen on them every time, you got a problem. And you look at them offensively, Dallas has some offensive weapons.
Yeah.
They just can't stop anyone. How many teams in the NFL? 32? They were dead last in every category they put up last night. Rushing yards per game, points per game, all that stuff. Every category, dead last.
Defensively, they're just...
And look, if you don't stop anybody, you ain't winning the game, man. You can put up as many points as you want, but at the end of the day, you got to stop somebody to win games.
At least sometime. I mean, that seems to be the issue for them. They don't stop anybody anytime. I mean, it's not too good. And then their kicker was 1 for 4 on field goals.
Oh.
So you left another 9 points on the test. That's a problem.
Well, and I don't even know what the final was. I turned it off. What was the final?
34-17.
9 covered again. Boo!
Oh, you're on fire.
I'm like Chris Canty right now.
You're 3 for 3. They should have you, on DraftKings as one of the experts for everything. Yeah. So
don't jinx it.
Yeah, let's not jinx it. Tuesday, somewhat of a light sports day. Ohio State is going to play no one, apparently, and the Big Ten has decided
it's a big call
to allow them to, what is it, be in the championship with 5 games? Is that what they're saying?
Originally, the Big Ten said that you had to play at least 6 games in order to qualify to be in the Big Ten championship. They have now rescinded that and made it 5 games, which Ohio State has 5 games, so they're allowed to be in it. So the Big Ten made an executive decision to allow teams with only 5 games played to qualify for the championship game. So I think it's the right move. I really do. I don't think many people are going to argue with it, to be honest, because I think a lot of people want to see if Ohio State is really as good as they are going forward. And like I said, I think it's the right move to keep the best teams on the field doing what they should be doing.
There's not much more to it. Should Ohio State be trying to get a game, in your opinion? Or is it too risky for them? I think they should be trying to get a game. I mean, heck.
I think you try and get a game, but you don't try and get a very good game. I think you get somebody where you can get a little tune-up, get a little work in the first quarter, get Justin Fields out of there, and work your backups for next year. Is that wrong? Maybe.
Yeah, I think it's wrong. The Big Ten is expected to change its policy that teams must play 6 games to be eligible for the conference championship. This would pave the way for Ohio State to face Northwestern pending approval in the league. Courtesy of
Northwestern, baby. Chicago, correct?
Northwestern, yeah, Evanston.
Right on the Great Lakes.
Mm.
Can you name the Great Lakes?
Can I name the Great Lakes? Great question. You might be able to get me on this. Let's see. How many are there? 5?
5. There's a great mnemonic device that I use to remember them.
Oh, yes. I do know this, actually. Well, I do know this.
See, like this would be a part of the show where we could get like if we had a guy with a soundboard, he hits like a certain sound, and then we say bam 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 bam. Trivia brought to you by da 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 da. Here you go.
Boom,
See?
Boom.
Well, all right, go ahead. You got 5 of them.
Superior.
Okay, that's okay. Superior. What was the other one?
Erie.
Erie.
Michigan.
Okay.
Ontario.
Nice. One more.
Superior, Michigan, Ontario. Hold on, let me just think. I know this.
I think you do too.
Lake Superior, Lake Michigan, Lake Superior, Lake Ontario, Lake Erie,
The mnemonic device helps them like crazy.
Lake. Hold on.
You got the biggest one.
Oh, I know. Lake. Oh, that can't be it. Hold on, give me a second. Huron, Lake Huron, Huron.
Good job.
Is that right?
Yep.
Yeah.
That was good.
Without having to look at anything off the noggin. I'm pretty good on these quizzes. I tell you, it takes a lot to get me.
And the way you remember it, Holmes.
Because then I would have got Huron right away.
Good job, Coach. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, there's a lot of useless information in my head.
Jeopardy, baby.
I'm pretty good at. I'm not like those guys on Jeopardy. Those guys are way beyond.
Those guys are savants. But every now and then I would say that I can average.
I can hang with the mid-level people there.
Listen, I think I average 5 to 6 correct.
Right.
I think that's pretty good. Unless I hit on a category, obviously that's whatever. I would say 5 to 6, maybe 8 on a good day. I think that's not bad for 2 rounds. I mean, I've been watching it since I was a straight. My God, I think it was just always on. 7 o'clock, bam. But moving on, I'm reading a couple things about Vanderbilt job. Some very interesting names coming up. Obviously, I go to my source, footballscoop.com, which is, I love it, except for all the ads, but it is what it is. There are 2 former NFL head coaches linked to it. Can you think of who?
My goodness.
One was fired this year.
One was fired Bill O'Brien?
Yes.
And then
the other one has bounced around. He had 2 jobs, former player in the 80s.
2 jobs, former player in the 80s.
Took a team to a Super Bowl in 1999.
1999, took a team to a Super Bowl in 1999. I'll say Bobby Ross.
Jeff Fisher.
I'm joking.
Bobby Ross is a good one, though. I like Bobby Ross.
Jeff Fisher.
Chargers, Army.
Georgia Tech.
So Jeff Fisher.
Where was Bobby? Bobby Ross was a Chargers coach, right?
When they got smoked by the Niners.
That's what I thought. I thought he was a Chargers coach.
Who was the quarterback for the Chargers?
When?
In that game.
In the championship game?
In the Super Bowl.
I think I know this. Hold on.
Bow. Insert sponsor here.
Let's see. Let me think. Drew Bledsoe?
With the Chargers?
Phillip Rivers?
This is 97, 96.
Is that what Junior Seau was on the team?
Yes. Junior Seau. Actually, can you screw the quarterback? Can you name Wow. Can you name the running back's name who is just, it's such a running back name?
running back for who? The Chargers?
Yeah, buddy.
Back then, the running back for the Chargers. Gary Anderson? You play with fouls. I'm playing around now.
Natron Means.
Natron Means. I met him.
We should do a poll about the best.
He coached in one of my All-Star games once.
The best football player names.
The Natron Bomb. North Carolina.
I see. I didn't know that.
He played at North Carolina. That I know. I guess he must have played for Mac Brown, right? Is that right?
I would think so. So you're still the quarterback? Stan Humphries.
Who?
Stan Humphries. A no-namer, brother.
Where did Stan Humphries play college ball? Alabama? No.
I don't even – why the hell were the Chargers even good?
Stan Humphries played in the Super Bowl?
They got –
I don't know who he is.
Trent Dilfer won a Super Bowl.
Yes, I knew that.
Stan Humphries – but, I mean, what are the Chargers even doing there? I mean, that Niners team was loaded.
So was that Steve Young, I guess?
Yep. Who was the running back?
Must be after Roger Craig. So it must be
right. Yes, after Roger Craig, but in the same mold, I think. Starts with a W. Last name starts with a W. Probably known for probably a better back on another team, if I'm correct.
Oh man, I don't know. Who is it?
Ricky Waters.
Ricky Waters, you're right. Ricky Waters was good for a while. Notre Dame.
See, I didn't know that either.
Yeah, I know the college. I know what college for most of them. Most of the players.
Here's the question. The best running back who was phenomenal one year and nowhere to be found ever again. And we'll keep it in the 2000s.
I gave you an 80s one. Kurt Warner, I said.
What'd you give me?
Kurt Warner. He ran for like
Never even heard of him.
Yeah, I know. He ran for like 1,500 yards. Played at Penn State. I think he was.
I believe this guy was a 2,000-yard rusher.
All right. So wait. So this guy had a great year, and there was never
2,000 yards.
Oh, I know who it is because I'm friends with him.
Oh, that's interesting.
He ran for 2,000 yards. He played for the Ravens.
Nope.
Oh, no. Okay.
What do you think about Jamal Lewis?
I was thinking about Jamal Lewis. He ran for 2,000 yards, never rushed for that amount again.
Jamal Lewis,
he did have a good career, though. He did have a good career.
Tennessee?
Yes, Tennessee. He did have a very good career, though.
Never wore gloves.
He's huge, by the way. For a long time, we did business. We try to do business on stuff. I brought him into I was a part of this Super Bowl and what was it? Entrepreneurship in the Super Bowl when the Super Bowl was here with the Giants. I brought in Odell Beckham. I brought in
yes, I remember that.
Jamal Lewis.
Odell's been a little talkative lately in the media.
Has he?
Yes. Pretty cool. We'll get to that. So Jamal Lewis. So let's
Mike Tannenbaum. Mike Tannenbaum I brought in.
I love Tannenbaum. He's on the radio a lot. I like him.
You know where Mike Tannenbaum loves to eat?
Loves to eat where?
I don't know if you will know it because you're not a Bergen County guy.
Kinchley's.
I don't know what Kinchley's is.
Oh my God. Pizza place up north by Bosco, baby. Oh my God.
Over by over towards New York State.
Yeah, buddy. Gotta go a little more.
I gotta get better lighting in here. I know my lighting sucks.
I need a studio.
Yeah, I think we have to get a studio. So,
we'll have to keep 6 feet away from each other with a glass pane.
Yeah, I guess people must be working harder today because none of our Facebook fans.
Yeah, well, it's Tuesday, man. Tuesday's a true grind day. Everybody's actually got to work.
Tuesday and Wednesday. Then Thursday, Friday, they're coming back. They'll be back, maybe. It's also a slower sports news day, too.
Well, it's also a day that, it's the only day of the week without football.
That's right.
Pretty much anyway this year. But listen, man, I'm still waiting for a name. He played at Alabama.
Who played at Alabama?
The guy I'm questioning if you can get him.
Bobby Humphreys?
Nope. He was also on the cover of Madden, so the Madden curse thing.
Trent Richardson?
No, that's a good one though. He was pretty good for a little bit and then was nothing. Before him. Let's talk his quarterback. This will probably give it away. His quarterback was Matt Hasselbeck.
I can't believe I'm blanking on this. I played at Alabama?
West Coast.
I don't know this.
Seattle Seahawks.
He rushed for 2,000 yards. Not the guy from
Marshawn Lynch. No, he went to Cal.
Yeah. So
before him,
for Marshawn Lynch,
the initials are SA.
Sean Alexander. Sean Alexander rushed for 2,000 yards in a season.
Fact check it. I'm almost positive.
He had a couple of good years, though. I can't say that he was a 1 year.
I think it was more of like a build-up, though. And then he had 1 year where it was like
he just exploded. Let me see. Hold on.
Yeah, kind of like kind of like how LaDainian Tomlinson had that year where he was just unstoppable, just scored touchdown after touchdown after touchdown.
Yeah, LaDainian. All right, so we got to be fair to Sean Alexander. Sean Alexander, his second year in the NFL, rushed for 1,300 yards and 14 touchdowns. Then he rushed for 1,175 yards and 16 touchdowns. Then he rushed for 1,435 and 14 touchdowns. Then he rushed for 1,696 and 16 touchdowns. Then his best year, and the year he basically did what you said he did, he had 1,880 yards and 27 touchdowns.
Okay, so you had a pretty good career.
For 5 years, he was probably the best back in the league. And then
I don't know about that. What years were those?
Then he just fell off. You're right. Like 896 and 7, then 716 and 4, and then 24 yards and done. Like what?
Give me what year was his best year?
And he was a darn good receiver for a long time.
What year was his best year?
He had 28 touchdowns in 2005.
Okay, so you're talking 2005. That's pre-Pete Carroll era.
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
Yeah, because 2005 is when the Trojans won the national championship.
Let's see, 2005.
And the Seahawks weren't very good.
2005, okay.
So he didn't rush for 2,000.
1880, which is pretty darn good. 2005.
I can name another 2,000-yard rusher.
Well, I named one earlier.
One of top 5 favorite players of all time.
2,000-yard rusher, yeah. The guy who played for the Titans, from Florida.
Nope.
But didn't he rush for?
Who are you talking about?
Played for the Jets for a little bit too.
I don't even know who you're talking about. You're not thinking of Fred Taylor, right?
No, he was a speedy guy.
Oh, Chris Johnson?
Yeah, Chris Johnson. He rushed for 2,000.
He's not a Florida guy, is he?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. I don't know if he's.
I'm thinking of the original misfit toy, I like to call him. From a school we've discussed on this show.
Well, I'm cheating right now, so.
And I believe a Heisman Trophy winner.
And he's from Florida?
He went to, like I said, a school we've discussed on this show. Heisman Trophy winner, running back. He ran for 2,000 on his second NFL team.
Adrian Peterson?
Nope. He was a NFL coach traded their entire draft to get him.
Traded their entire. Emmitt Smith?
Nope. He used to do interviews with his helmet on and shield because he had some social anxiety issues. Ultimately leading him down the path that he went. Number 34 in the NFL.
It was number 34, but
probably known for his dreadlocks.
Ricky Williams?
Yeah, buddy.
He didn't rush for 2,000 yards.
No? Check it out.
I'm on it. There's 7 guys. O.J. Simpson, Eric Dickerson, Barry Sanders, Terrell Davis, Jamal Lewis, Chris Johnson, Adrian Peterson.
Ricky Williams never rushed?
Nope.
No way.
Ricky Williams rushed.
Why did I think he was? Why was I 100% that he did?
I mean, he held, I don't know if he still does, but he held the college record.
I know that because I literally watched live on the run that he broke the record.
Yeah, big long run. Let's see. Ricky Williams. He rushed for 1,853 yards with Miami in 2002. He actually had an erratic career.
Because he's all over the place, man. He was the original mental health issues that came out and people didn't understand it.
Yeah, that's true. That's right. Mike Ditka traded the farm to get him.
I think he had a pretty good career, dude, until he went off the deep end.
He started out good. 1,000 yards, 1245, 1853. Oh, hello.
Yo! Hi, Troy.
Troy, we have way too many windows open. Remember we talked about the windows?
Mm-hmm.
Troy, are you a regular on this podcast or you special guest?
Troy, what are you doing?
Who's your picks for next week? Who are you picking for?
Got to give him multiple choice. Got to be multiple.
All right. Let's see if we
do it and give him mascots because I'm writing them down. Troy, you're gonna be the hot take this week, baby.
Yeah, let's hold on. Let me see if we can find that. What was that basketball game on?
When you were laughing because you had to go one way and you couldn't jump. You just had to jump.
Yeah, I know. I just don't remember what it was on there. Arcade games.
All right, Troy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you 2 teams. You tell me which one you think is gonna win. Okay.
Are you ready, Troy?
Ready?
First one, Troy.
Patriots or the Rams?
Patriots.
Ooh.
Okay.
Patriots and Rams. Patriots.
I actually really like that pick. The Chiefs or the Dolphins?
Dolphins.
Whoa, that's an upset, Troy.
That could happen though. Titans or the Jaguars?
Titans.
Safe pick there. Safe pick. Nice pick.
The Vikings or the Buccaneers?
Buccaneers.
Oh yeah, he loves the Bucs. He loves the Bucs, buddy.
Good. We'll take you to a game.
You know
the Cardinals or the Giants?
Cardinals?
Yes.
Or the Giants? Cardinals. Don't tell mommy that.
They have flexed that game, by the way, from a Sunday afternoon to the Sunday night primetime game. The Texans or the Bears?
Bears.
That should happen. The Broncos or the Panthers?
Panthers.
These are all really good picks. Oh boy. Daddy's Cowboys or the Bengals? It's okay to go against Dad if you want to.
Cowboys or Bengals?
Bengals.
Bengals! No dinner for you.
The Jets or the Seahawks?
Of course, the Jets.
Yeah, I knew where that was going. A couple more, Troy. The Colts or the Raiders?
The Raiders.
Ooh.
Yeah. I may have a secret love for the Raiders. Just saying.
Okay.
The Packers or the Lions?
Lions.
The Lions. Okay. The Lions are blue and the Packers are green and yellow.
The Saints
still like
Eagles, Troy.
All right, again.
Don't be trying to sway his decisions.
Okay, go ahead. Give him again.
The Saints or the Eagles?
Eagles.
Oh, I actually kind of think that's a sleeper because with a new quarterback, I think they're going to have some juice in the tank. I really do. The Washington football team or the 49ers?
The Washington football team.
Wow.
In great way. I love that you answered in a full sentence. Nice job, Troy. The Falcons or the Chargers?
The Falcons.
Okay. That guy's the next one to get fired. 2 more to go. The Steelers or the Buffalo Bills?
The Buffalo Bills.
All right. Good job, Troy.
Who are actually favored in that game, by the way. Last one, Troy.
Last one.
Ravens or the Browns?
Ravens.
Ooh.
Okay.
You're a fan of Lamar Jackson, huh? All right.
I think we have a secret picker every week. I think that's Troy's spot on the show.
I think that's your segment, Troy. And here you go. Here's your basketball game.
Good job, Troy.
Good job. Thank you for your picks. Now he's playing online basketball game 2v2 with
Listen.
he LeBron James. It's basically usually LeBron James versus what's the guy from the Warriors?
Steph Curry.
Yeah.
Listen, those picks that he just picked are pretty good, not going to lie.
You should keep track. You should put your pick, and you should you versus the kid each week. You versus
I'm not going to lie. I use Colton all the time. Because he tells me, I have to give him mascots, and then he goes off of that. You know what I mean? So he would look at it and be like,
Troy, can you lower the volume a little bit?
He would tell me that an Indian chief would kill a dolphin.
I
actually like the dolphin. That's a +7. The Dolphins, the Chiefs are favored by 7 in that, and now the line might change, but I like that. I like the Patriots +5 with the Rams. I'm staying away from the Titans Jaguars because you never know. Vikings Bucks. Dude, Giants could beat the Cardinals.
The Giants could beat the Cardinals. Yeah, they can. The Giants are playing well. I mean,
even if Daniel Jones comes back, your Cowboys Bengals might be the worst game ever.
So when I said you that, yeah, that's a bad game. When I said, why don't you sit in the chair over there? Well, we don't have a chair right now. Bring your chair over here. So we yesterday we did Chuck Yeager, as unfortunately people are RIPing left and right and sad. Although these are older gentlemen, so they've.
I just and I retweeted something because actually, shout out to the Group 2 Shore Conference Team of the Year in Manasquan football. They had tweeted something about Chuck Yeager yesterday.
Oh, I saw that. It was great what they tweeted.
Yes.
I loved it.
And kudos to them for, being named the USA Today Group 2 champ or Group 2 Team of the Year.
Were they really?
Another little whatever. Yeah. Political newspaper media.
Who is it? Who named it? The
USA Today, I think.
Oh, I don't even know what that. I don't even know what that is. Okay. Yeah, Ray Perkins, Alabama player.
Never
played for Bear Bryant.
No idea. I looked it up today, though.
Played for Bear Bryant back in the day. Was the Giants coach right before Bill Parcells.
How many years?
He was there quite a few years. I think the beginning of Sims' career, and then
I like Sims, bro.
And then obviously Parcells came in. I don't know that Sims was the starter under Perkins.
Who was the starter?
I want to say maybe Scott Brunell was the starter initially.
Any relation to Mark Brunell?
No. Scott. I'm sorry, not Scott Brunell. Scott Brunner.
Okay.
Scott Brunner used to be my insurance rep. He used to be my insurance salesman. He had his own insurance. He had his own like financial company.
Okay.
And he used to do some QB training. Scott Bruner. Let's see, Giants. Scott Bruner. He's 6'6", gigantic guy. Oh, 6'5", I guess he's listed as. All right, so let's see. Was Scott Bruner? My question was Scott Bruner the starter before Phil? Scott Bruner was selected by the New York Giants in the 6th round 80 draft. He replaced an injured Sims in 81 and started that year. And with Bruner leading them, the Giants subsequently lost the same. And then Ray Perkins left the Giants in 82. And then 83, Parcells chose Bruner over Sims. Bruner then was traded, and I guess Sims took over, I guess. Oh, interesting. All right, yeah.
Who was
not a great touchdown to interception ratio?
Who was the
even though he's a great man?
Who was the defensive coordinator under Parcells?
Oh, well, it has to be.
I don't know. I'm asking.
Oh, I'm assuming it was Bill Belichick.
So Bill Belichick was the DC under Parcells.
I'm pretty sure about that. Pretty sure.
And I'm guessing Kevin Gilbride was his OC.
Kevin Gilbride. I'm not sure. Bill Parcells.
I'm researching it right now.
Staff.
So they won the Super Bowl in 1990, correct?
Belichick had to be the DC. Yep, there.
I'm looking at it now. Hang on.
And the other guy in the far left, I don't know who that is there. Tom Coughlin? No, Tom Coughlin was.
He was on staff. As was Romeo Cornell. Wow.
There's Romeo. I see him. I'll pull it up here for you.
The staff. Here we go.
I'll pull it up here. Pull it up.
Coughlin was the team's receivers coach.
There we go. So let's see. So how do I have to do this so everyone can see it? So there is Romeo Cromell.
Wow, bro.
There is he's much slimmer. But you can see he's a pretty big guy even there. Coughlin. That is Bill Belichick. Look how young Belichick is. Who is this guy? This is the OC. That's
where?
It must be this guy in the far left. No. Al Groh is the linebackers coach. I got to find him there.
University of Virginia. And Jets head coach.
Yes, he was. The offensive coordinator.
Okay.
Offensive coordinator.
God.
Coughlin was the wide receivers coach.
Belichick was the DC. Romeo Cornell was what?
Charlie Weiss is up there as a special teams coach.
There's another guy that fell off from the coaching world, bro.
Where's Charlie Weiss?
Where is he now?
No, where is he in this picture?
Oh, I'm saying I know his son is very successful right now.
I don't know which guy is Charlie
I'm
Weiss.
pretty sure his son has a Division I job somewhere.
Okay. I don't know where Charlie Weiss is.
Don't.
There's Charlie Weiss right there.
Where? How
right
slim
there.
is he?
That's Charlie Weiss. Look at Charlie Weiss, how young he is.
He looks very short.
I think he is short.
Go.
Well, the article I pulled up is arguing that this may be the best coaching staff in the history of everything.
I'm just trying to find who was the offensive coordinator.
Oh, it's right here. Ron Erhardt.
Oh, Ron Erhardt that's Ron Erhardt right there. He was the
had been the head coach of the Patriots before joining Parcells, and he gave the group another conference title. And he was on Bill Cowher's AFC Championship winning staff in Pittsburgh.
Oh, okay. Famous coach. I thought he coached the Chargers at one point. I could be wrong.
Yep, Charlie Weiss.
That's a good coaching staff. All right, so and then you got the players here. You got there's Phil Simms. There's Eric Dorsey.
I've met all of these guys. I've met so many of these guys through working these. We used to work New York Giant youth camps when I was younger, and every summer. So Dorsey, who's the other guy? Martin, Keith Elias.
Keith Elias wasn't on this team.
I'm talking former Giant.
Oh. There's Carl Banks and LT and Phil and Pepper Johnson.
I think that's one of the greatest names ever, too.
Definitely a great name.
I'm going to keep a running tally, just so you know, of great football names. Natron Means is up there.
There's probably a listing for you that does it already.
Oh, I'm sure there is, but I like to write things down.
So
that's a hell of a coaching staff.
Oh yeah.
And then I love looking at the transition that those guys made in 1995 to the Cleveland Browns.
Well, they didn't do too well there, but
in 1 year, they were only there for 1 year, but just take a look at some of the names on that staff. Pull that up.
Saban,
Belichick. You had Mike Tannenbaum as an executive.
Oh, okay.
What should I play?
Interesting.
Saga.
So I got a question for you.
Oh boy!
And this kind of goes into thanks, buddy.
Hello,
The last part, we're kind of talking about as we've been putting the pieces together with recruiting and stuff. Oh, there you go. With recruiting, how does spring ball and FCS playing games? Because I noticed they have their schedules out. I'm assuming they're going to play games. I obviously
you're talking about like Patriot League teams.
Patriot League, the CAA.
What is Monmouth in?
Yeah, how is the NCAA going to do recruiting? Let's say that they get the opportunity to go off campus in the spring. Let's say vaccinations happen and people start. Does the NCAA let them off campus first of all? And how do the rules get affected with FBS schools?
And if this is all allowed, right?
Right.
Do you put more of an emphasis on your spring ball or do you put more of an emphasis on your recruiting?
Well, you mean if you're an BCS, obviously we're recruiting because they're playing. But FBS, for example, what is like a team who's playing in spring like Monmouth?
So let's get it straight for our viewers. When we're talking Division I, we're talking FBS, Football Bowl Series. When we're talking what used to be Division I AA, that's FCS, Football Championship Series. So when we're talking about teams like Patriot League, like William and Mary, Holy Cross, Townsend, those types of schools, they're FCS schools who did not have a season. So they're playing in the spring, right? Monmouth's in there. If we're talking about the big daddies, right, now we're talking about SEC, ACC, Notre Dame, all those guys. Are they going to be going through spring ball? And if they are, how do now the dynamics work? Because normally when you're off campus and recruiting in the spring, these guys at the FCS level are going to be playing games or ultimately practicing.
Right.
And this is what I look at. That obviously, because I'm going back to my roots, the NJAC Conference Division III is playing a 4-game schedule in the spring.
Oh, they are?
Yes. Oh. So you're going to see Montclair State, Keene, Rowan, TCNJ.
If this is successful,
William Patterson, Montclair State.
If this is successful, like for example,
I'm excited. I get to go see some freaking games.
Right. Division III. I got the kids co-hosting over here. He's co-hosting. Are you co-hosting the podcast?
Here's the other thing that I've been informed of. Those kids that are supposed to graduate, as far as this fall right now, this 2020 season would have been their last. Those guys are seniors that are now going to play 4 games in the spring, but are going to be given the fall of 2021 season. They're given that eligibility.
So they'll be able to play both seasons. So
they can play 4 games in the spring, basically counting that as that would have been their senior year, but now they're going to get the entire 2021 full season to go. So now if you're a team like Montclair State, where you're only allowed to bring 125 kids into camp, you need to know how many of those seniors are coming back again. And do you want them back?
Well, that's a different question. But the big question in my mind is,
I give my boy so many props for the way he's doing this whole thing.
What if FCS is a ton of fun to watch in the spring?
Will they move it to that season?
What would you think? And I'm not saying this would happen ever. So this is pie in the sky discussion. How cool?
What kind of pie?
What's that?
What kind of pie?
I don't know. For me, it would have to be blueberry crumb. I try like that one.
Banana cream.
Oh, banana cream is very good. A tough thing about banana cream is it's
hit or miss.
Well, no, it's filling. It's very filling.
Yeah, it's like eating a cheesecake.
Yeah, so like if you
in terms of filling. Anyway,
blueberry pie, you could.
I like what you're saying about that because
is that
FCS gets kind of swept underneath the rug, and like we're trying to. FCS doesn't get really the kudos that they get until they get into their playoffs, which I think it's a phenomenal setup. You win your conference, bam, you're in the playoffs, right. And then you get to see those semifinal games or the finals games on big time ESPN or whatever. And most times we're watching North Dakota State, right? Like it's just the Bison up there they just crush everybody. And also they're supposed to have a first round draft pick at quarterback, which is very interesting. Obviously, what's his name has opened up a bridge. Carson Wentz, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, if this does catch on,
yeah.
And I don't know, are the FCS schools that aren't playing right now, are they like the Patriot League? Are they actually playing a season in the spring?
Yes.
They are.
So my question is,
what are the parameters? How many games?
It's not as many games, like 6 or 7 games, but what I do think is they're basically
playing for anything?
They're playing their league schedule, I think, and I don't know if they're playing for anything like a national championship. But
what you're telling me is we're going to be able to go see Monmouth play games.
So yes, TV. What about TV? Like, wouldn't that be an opportunity for them TV wise?
Yes.
Right, because what else? Listen, we know, and it's shown when football's on, people watch it.
Right.
Right, like football is a monster draw. No matter when it's on, who's playing, people are going to watch football. So if now you take something that's out of season, I mean, just look at the numbers last year from when we were in quarantine, and then all of a sudden they had the NFL draft. Like, if you can find a way for people to watch these football games, which I don't care, you're still seeing some of the quality. I think people will be shocked in the quality of the football that they're seeing. I think it would open up recruiting doorways for these guys to get on TV and people to see the level of football that it is and not say, oh, this is an FCS program. I want to be a Division I, FBS guy. You've seen it with Coastal Carolina this year. You saw it with Appalachian State a couple years ago when they, more than a couple years ago, but when they knocked off Michigan. Like, these teams are willing to go out and compete at those high levels against those big schools. Who's to say it doesn't start this new trend of like, hey, I'm going to go to these schools? And, we discussed it the other day. if those FCS schools are close to home, are guys now going to rather stay there than fly across the country and go to an FBS school because of whatever? I don't know. I think it's a great opportunity. I've always loved the FCS stuff because obviously, that was more my level of play. That's where I did play. And I say all the time, like some of the quality that I saw playing at Sacred Heart and playing against guys, like Miles Austin at Monmouth, playing against the University of Albany, Robert Morris, Central Connecticut State, like these teams, Iona when they had a program, Stony Brook out on Long Island. These schools can play ball. Wagner, just because they're deemed, FCS or maybe even a lower level FCS, other than, when you're looking at a Holy Cross or you're looking at a William and Mary, a Townsend, some of those schools, but it's still a high level of ball that I think a lot of guys just don't experience because they don't see it.
Absolutely. You're 100% right. I think it would be
something about playing in the spring,
I think it would be cool. I mean, I think it would be I didn't think initially it would be a cool thing I don't think it's good for BCS, but for FBS, that could be.
What's FBS?
FBS means
FCS.
I'm sorry, FCS is Football Championship Series, Troy. FBS is Football Bowl Series. Am I right?
Yep.
So.
It's Division I, Division I AA. It's what it is. You know what I mean? That's the old way of looking at it. They just renamed it.
Absolutely.
And then you have Division II, Division III, NAIA.
So let's I don't know. I think we covered most of. You had something that you wanted to bring up for today. Now you said we'll talk about it later, but I don't know exactly what it was.
What did I say?
I don't remember.
See, that's where I usually write all this stuff down. What did we have in the first Big Ten? Baltimore breakdancing.
Breakdancing. We took 20 minutes on.
Oh, I do have some local breaking news that I saw. CBA, around the corner from you, is dropping huge renovations on their athletic facilities.
Oh wow, really?
I think we're talking like something around 19 million, if I'm not mistaken.
Interesting.
So, CBA, if you ever want to start a football team, let me know.
CBS Sports, huh?
Local news. Also, our boy at Shore Savages is doing a D-line player of the year. So, go on there and vote for
Dan.
Yep, he's on there, and he's matched up against an RBC kid in round 1.
Oh, here you go. Embarks on ambitious. Wow. Yeah.
You see what I'm talking about?
Yeah, but it's a soccer. They made it a soccer.
Well, that's because that's what they're good at.
Soccer and lacrosse complex. Yeah, they don't have any. They're not going to have football, and then they're building a 1.2 million track and field complex. I might have to go over there and visit with them since I'm around the corner. Literally. And say, why don't you guys have a football program? That would be beautiful.
Yes.
Imagine.
They should. They should do that.
What are their colors? What are their colors? What are their colors again?
I don't know.
Carolina blue. I think they're like Carolina.
I don't know why they don't have football. I really don't know. But
Coach Del Pride, and he told me about something how they always deem to never have it or something. But
yeah,
well, we just need someone to donate a couple gazillion.
I think you would have to donate a gazillion to get them to have football.
Football's expensive, man. People don't understand how expensive football really is to have it and do it. I mean, it's expensive. Just look right off the bat. You're thinking every single kid has to be outfitted with $600-$700 worth of equipment.
So
you're talking on the lighter end.
So we did we talk about the South Carolina hired Beamer? Did we discuss
Beamer? What is my question to you? What was my man Will Muschamp's buyout?
$15 million.
Got to be double digits.
It's very high. It's like
second job he's been fired from.
Noted that the exact number is 50. His buyout is 75% of the remaining salary in his contract, which is $15,378,750.
So he's getting $15 million to not coach for what? 2 years?
Well, he could go be like an analyst. I think go make 30,000 or something.
Why he can just go jump on Fox Sports or jump on.
That's true, and make $1 million a year, right?
Or how about just go speak or go? I don't know. Go disappear for 2 years and coach a high school.
He can do whatever he wants for $15 million. So
look at where you want your next job to be, and go find a high school around the area and get established and go.
Who are you talking to? Me?
I'm just saying, if I'm Will Muschamp.
Oh, him. I'm at my job.
And unfortunate little side note, and you know the story because I always talk about it. I've been in a meeting. I've been in Will Muschamp's office when he was at the University of Florida. I've held the BCS. What is that? Glass football from when he won it with Nick Saban at LSU. Very interesting dude. Actually had his career cut short because he broke his leg so severely that he had to have a metal rod implanted in his leg. Kind of walks with a little bit of whatever, but a very cool dude. Very fiery as hell.
Yeah, and one other thing I'll tell you that is interesting. Remember we talked yesterday about the states playing high school football? I posted that thing yesterday.
Yes.
It's taken off like wildfire where California coaches
are fired up.
They are fired up. California in particular, I'll say.
Because it's such a big football state, man.
Are fired up. Like, places like North Carolina, it seems like they think they're going to play in the spring, so they're hopeful.
And on continuing with that, there was a coach from North Carolina that posted on Twitter today, hey, any coaches that have gone through a season this year, we're going to play in the spring. Any feedback you could give us, please, let us know. So, my boy, Coach Papson, up at SJV dropped a little bit. Coach Eatman at Parsippany High School's dropped a little bit. And I told him to send me a message, and he reached out and he said, Coach, appreciate you, offering for help and whatnot. And I just gave him, I gave him a couple little tidbits, Coach. I gave him 3 points. And I think you and I are on the same page and I just told him, you got to be, you have to be flexible. You have to have a next man up mentality. And I said, and you got to be willing to do some things that you've never done before.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's really the foundation of it. I talked about making sure that your players, from your best guy to your fifth string left guard, know the offense, know your system, because you never know what's going to happen. So make sure everybody knows at least a base package on both sides of the ball. I said, and make sure all of your coaches know everything, because you don't know if you go down or if one of your coaches gets sick. And it was kind of funny to see the stream, right? And one coach actually said, look, one game, I was down with COVID. My offensive coordinator was down with COVID, and my trainer ended up sending in signals for the offense that week.
No way.
I thought it was awesome.
That is hilarious.
So I just, I gave him those tidbits, as far as we've been through it, told him to reach out if he needs anything. So I just think it's pretty cool. This coaching fraternity that we're in, it's one of, I like to think of it as like a brotherhood where, we all kind of look out for each other. When it's game day, we can get fiery and get competitive, but at the end of the day, we're all trying to help each other out, which is why, you deliver so much content. I deliver so much content. It's some of the reasons that we do some of this interactive stuff. It's kind of, I was coaches helping coaches, and I think that's really what it's all about.
Well, on that note, I think, I didn't ask you any quizzes before we end the show.
Well, you're just not as savvy as I am.
Yeah, I didn't come up with anything good today. Yesterday,
This is the stuff I think about like all day. Troy,
Yes.
what's your favorite cereal?
Reese's Pieces.
That's a candy, bro.
there's a cereal called Reese's Piece. Wait, what is it called?
Reese Puffs.
Reese Puffs. That's it.
They are so good. Troy, I like it, man. That's a good choice.
What's your favorite?
He's in the zone, man. He's in the zone.
Favorite food?
My favorite food is pizza and French fries.
I love you. Are you my son?
Who knows?
That's not right. That's not right. I hope Nicole is upstairs.
No, of course she is. I would. She would kill me if I said that. But obviously,
I'm pretty sure she. Look, I guess she's off the clock because Troy's been with us for a good 45 minutes.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Troy's down here hanging. Yeah. I guess there's no such thing. She must be working. That must be what's going on.
Troy, how do you like school?
Good.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is it getting better? What's your favorite subject?
Gym.
Hey, all right. He's got a good one there. There you go, buddy. And tennis. I see you're playing tennis. You like it?
Yes.
What's your favorite part of tennis?
When we do the games.
What game?
Yeah. See, he likes to compete.
The freeze tag.
The freeze tag.
When we had to do the tennis and we had to run around without she had off of the ball.
Oh yeah, he likes to run.
That's good, man. I like to see you doing that. That's good stuff. You just keep having fun.
Yeah, he's having a blast.
Win at all costs.
That's it. Yeah, I don't have a good question for you
tonight. What am I going to do?
There's no MAC games.
Not tonight. I don't think so.
Oh.
Let me see. Let's check the schedule. I will look, circling back a little bit. I am excited to have legit football in the spring, though.
Yeah, no, that'll be. I think it'll be great. I think people will like.
I mean, look, even if it's us going and standing on the sidelines at a Montclair State game, like maybe I can finally can get you to go to a Division III game and see the level that it's really at, and then I don't have to hear from you all the time. Oh, Division III Montclair State, no, I don't have to hear you. I can actually show you. It's my goal.
Yeah, Division III is all right.
Look, I'd much rather go to a Montclair State game than a UConn game.
I know.
First off, you can't go to a UConn game because they said they won't play.
No, I know.
Which totally makes – I'm sorry, but –
I don't know. The only thing I can think is that they did need another year to develop. It would have been a rough year. But they were
getting a rough year no matter what. It's UConn.
But they were – hold on. Easy. Easy. But they were on – I'd
much rather take your sister's school and Kobe against them.
What's this?
That's a joke.
What conference are they even in?
They're in the AAC.
Oh, they're not in the Big East?
What conference? Wait, what Division I conference is Montclair State in?
Look, the NJAC is like a Division I conference.
Oh, come on. Let's you know what? Let's not even go there.
Who's the best linebacker to ever come out of UConn? You can't name one.
The best, John Dorsey.
All right, I guess he's John Dorsey or Sam Mills.
Played 8 years.
Sam Dorsey?
Yeah, Sam Mills. How many? Let's go through this. How many Montclair State linebackers have ever made the NFL besides Sam Mills?
No, probably no one.
0.
Danny Garrett played in Germany.
Oh, did he?
I don't know.
Yeah.
But I mean, those German. That's a different thing. The whole German. Yeah. But look, the bottom line is Division III is not scholarship. Division I is scholarship. It's apples to oranges.
I agree. I couldn't agree more. I do. I'm honest about it. I really do.
It's just apples to oranges. So it's.
I mean, do I think that a Montclair State could compete with a Pace or an East Stroudsburg?
Pace, yeah. East Stroudsburg, I don't know.
Or a Bloomsburg.
It depends on. They have a good amount of scholarships. I'm not sure. I don't know enough about.
I think, and this is my take. I think that the Division II world sometimes gets looked at like, I feel like it's Division I, right? FBS
In the Northeast,
FCS, and then you have Division III, Division II.
In the Northeast, that's true.
Where you go, if you go elsewhere,
yeah.
And now you're throwing JUCO right up there. Because JUCO is not a very big thing around here.
No, well, JUCO's it's still not as good, but if you
California has JUCO everywhere.
Grand Valley. Oh, I got a trivia. Here's your trivia question.
You're gonna lose.
Who was the head coach?
Ryan Kelly.
Grand Valley State. That would be Brian Kelly.
And I believe they are black and blue.
I think so. I think you're correct.
What's the other really good one? Pittsburgh
State used to be. I don't know if they still are. Kansas. They're in Kansas.
Valdosta State,
Georgia.
Who got their start there?
I forget what you're saying.
Yeah. What's his name? Hal Mummy, maybe.
And Mike Leach.
Valdosta State.
It was really cool if you have time.
They were at before Valdosta State.
What'd you say?
What was the school in Iowa that they were at before?
Iowa Wesley.
Was it Iowa Wesleyan?
Iowa Wesleyan or something like that.
I think it was. Yeah.
If you look at, and I checked it out last night because I thought it was very interesting, the Broyles Award for the top assistant coach in Division I. Looking at some of the names, man, it was cool to look at.
Yeah.
Some of the guys that have won it, it was started in 1996. But looking at some of the award winners, if you pull it up, I think it was really cool to look at and just see the names of the guys that have won it and then where they've gone.
Oh, yeah. Well, they've all been Division I coaches, almost all of them.
Almost all of them have had at some point a Division I job, yes.
The Art Briles Award.
What is it? The Broyles Award?
It
was first awarded in 1996, named after former University of Arkansas men's athletic director Frank Broyles. Presented in Little Rock, Arkansas at the Rotary Club. You can only win it every 3 years.
Joe Brady won it.
And
Mike
now where's he?
Won it.
Right. You look at the names, right? So the first guy that jumps off is Joe Brady. Where is he now? He's the head coach at Baylor.
Joe Brady? No.
Yes.
He's the Carolina Panthers.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm thinking of Aranda. My apologies.
Gus Malzahn.
Joe Brady's the offensive coordinator is an offensive coordinator in the league.
Mike Mangino won it.
And he's what? As the offensive coordinator of there's a lot of cool ones in there, man.
Ralph Region won it. David Cutcliffe, Tennessee.
Who's now the head coach of Duke.
Yep. First time was awarded 96 Mickey Andrews.
Yay.
Classic defensive coordinator from Florida State.
Oh.
The what? Mickey Andrews. Fame. Yeah.
Randy Shannon.
Yeah. Kirby Smart.
Yay.
Norm Chow.
Bobby Diaco.
Gene Chiswick. That's a name that is. Do you know where Diaco is now?
No.
He's a DC. The black shirt defense.
Oh, Purdue.
The black shirt defense.
He's at Purdue?
the black shirt defense.
He's not at Nebraska. He's at Purdue.
He left.
Yeah, it says Purdue. And much.
I'll tell you.
Purdue gave up a lot of points to
Rutgers.
Rutgers.
I will give you my favorite defensive coordinator in the Big Ten, who is actually on the list for candidate to win this award.
Who?
Jim Leonard.
Where's he coach at?
Defensive coordinator, University of Wisconsin, his alma mater, after he played all those years as a safety for the Ravens and for the Jets.
Oh, yeah, I do remember him. Yeah. Oh, yeah, okay. That's pretty.
Man, Bob Diaco was a big name coming out of Notre Dame, and he took that UConn job, and it just murdered him.
Yeah, it definitely didn't send him down a good path.
I mean, it just goes to show you, like, sometimes taking the wrong job.
Or maybe he wasn't a good fit either. We don't know.
Right, like maybe if you were just a little bit more patient, right?
I think you can win anywhere. You just need to have the opportunity and the resources. If you're good, if you have enough,
all about the support.
If you have enough of those, you definitely can do it.
And I think, and that was something that somebody posted on Twitter today. You know, one of these coaches said, like, I can't stand when people say you can't win at that place, you can't win at this place, you can't win here. Like you said, you can win anywhere. It's just a matter of having the right things established and the right things in line.
So you can do what
you ultimately, and that's something I think you established right off the bat. Like, look, this is where I want to go. Do we have the same vision? Do we not? If we don't, thanks for the interview. I'll take care.
Well, sometimes people express the vision and they don't necessarily have it. So you're hoping that that's the case. You know,
as in the candidate expresses the vision and they just are just saying it to say it.
No, I would say that sometimes you get in a situation where I think everybody has good intentions, but they're not really, they either don't know how or they're not willing to do the things necessary to support a program. And I think that's where the issue lies.
You mean like Zoom meetings 3 times a week during quarantine and then spending countless hours at the facility in terms of going through equipment, handing out tickets.
Well, I think I can't judge that, you know, at this point, but I think, you know, well, in this situation, you got to do things that you might not normally be doing. But I think that, you know, intention, I think most people have the right intention. I think that it becomes a continuous process of every day. Are you evaluating what your intention is? And does the coach keep getting in line with what the administration wants? And if that continues to happen, you're going to have success. But if that changes at some point, then it could be a lot harder. I mean, I've won at places in spite of administrations.
Yeah, but think about how much tougher that road is.
Much more difficult, right? If everybody's aligned, it's a lot easier than it is if you're winning in spite of what you have there. So, I mean, that's obviously the key. And I think in college, that's where you see sometimes you see fantastic coaches that win at a place that don't normally win, and then they leave. And I think one of the reasons why they leave is that they may feel like they got to strike while the iron is hot because they may not feel it's sustainable within the system that they're at. So they get it to a certain point. I mean, it was kind of like.
Can you give me an example?
I'm going to give you a really good example. Western Michigan. So Western Michigan was terrible before what's the coach of Minnesota?
PJ Fleck.
PJ Fleck took it over. He turned it around pretty quick in a few years, right?
Rode the boat.
Right? And really did some great things. They were actually if you remember Jamari Bogans from Union, he played there and he was the running back. And
a place that has never won.
So they won, and then new coach.
Right. Didn't they win? Like they went to a big bowl.
They were undefeated. So, but then when he left,
And where did he come from?
they were still good for a little bit, but I don't think that like they committed a ton of resources financially to put there. So they built a whole bunch of stuff. So they have
Daddy, where my stuff
they have the ability to I don't know, Troy. I'm
basketball.
do you want to stay here or no? Um, they have the ability. So they built a bunch of things like an indoor facility. All this, I think, redid the field and facilities. So they have an opportunity to succeed, and that was pushed from PJ Fleck. And I think he left for a situation where he hoped to get even more. What I do think has happened is that they have some level of sustainability because of what PJ Fleck did. And I think, well, let's see how they're doing. Well, this year,
Just don't think it's going to be enough.
they're 4-1 this year. Let's see what they were before. I'm curious, actually.
All they have to probably do is be.
Last year they were 7
As
and
long as they
6.
go and beat Eastern Michigan and Central Michigan every year, that's
Yeah,
probably a good thing.
I think when PJ leaves is that, like, you know, once you get that kind of prestige, you think, you know what, I need more resources. So even though they
I
have,
also think PJ is one of those guys that, look, you know, coming from where he came from, because where did he get his start? Do you remember?
and they have you got to see Western Michigan. Like, you would be shocked. I've been to Western Michigan, so I want to make sure I'm clear on this. They actually have built some really nice things there. So, and that's probably because of what PJ Fleck did. But obviously, in order to get,
I mean, I like him. I think he uses a little bit too many mnemonic devices and things of that nature.
Yeah.
There's too many sayings and random words, but I do love his motivational and his fire and his passion and all that kind of stuff. I obviously like where he came from. As far as, you know, he kind of started out as a Rutgers guy and then, you know, followed Shiano down to Tampa and then kind of took his own path. So I think that's cool. But, you know,
I think he's a great motivator, and I think the Big Ten is not as easy as, you know, and Minnesota definitely hasn't been.
it's cold, man.
It is cold, but they're struggling this year. They're 1-3. You know,
Yeah, and I think they keep having a lot of COVID issues.
yeah, I mean,
I'm saying, like, you know, I say that,
and I think the colder the area that you are,
the more screwed you are.
I think maybe with COVID, it could be a little bit harder because you're huddled up inside more than you are in the South. So it definitely, I feel for the coaches in the North much more from that standpoint, because that is definitely a lot harder. Because what are you supposed to do? Stand out in the freezing cold?
I got like to close this thing out. Okay, I want to ask you, like, I don't know. I got like 5 football questions.
Okay.
And you can answer them, you know, as far as they go. And it's more just, they're not football specific question. It's more like outlooks going forward. Okay. So first question, who has more success in the next 5 years? Lane Kiffin at Ole Miss or Mike Leach at Mississippi State?
Lane Kiffin.
Okay. You can back it up if you want. If not,
what am I backing it up with? I think Lane Kiffin has more SEC experience. I think the kind of players you could find in the South, the Troy, can you give me a break here? Not now.
Yeah.
So I think Lane Kiffin's system, his ability to recruit, I think the type of player you have in the South, where you have so much speed on defense, where the opportunity to run the crossing routes, which is the staple of Mike Leach's offense.
You don't think they'll be able to do it?
I think you're going to struggle to have a quarterback that, without a superior offensive line, can give them enough time to get across on a regular basis. I could be wrong.
Hey, I like it. I'd love to see Lane Kiffin do well because we have a direct tie to Old Miss with Coach Partridge down there running the defense and Marquise on staff. So I'd love to go catch a spring ball down there. My goodness, if we could friggin' figure out a way to spend the entire month of March in Mississippi and just hit both camps, dude, we'd be talk about a bucket list.
Absolutely.
All right, next one. How many more years for Saban?
30.
You're doing it till Miss Terry pulls him off?
Yeah. How old is Nick Saban? 70?
You got to fact check that one. I think he's like 69, 70. Or maybe I should change the question. Who leaves or gets fired first? Nick Saban or Ed Orgeron?
Ed Orgeron.
You think my man's going out?
I love LSU. Like, it's one of the programs I really enjoy just because I've been there a few times and I just like the whole allure of Louisiana. And obviously Nick Saban's got it rolling so well.
I'd love to go there.
I mean, Nick Saban has it going so well that like I should say they're so good that there's maybe less per se excitement around everything because they're so good.
They're just used to it.
So it's not necessarily fair to him per se.
Correct.
That he's so good that you're almost like, well, they're always so good. But I think what's interesting about LSU, what's interesting about LSU.
Talk about a spotlight program all the time, man.
So they've won 3. So Saban won a national championship there.
Les Miles
won a national championship, and now Ed Orgeron.
It's almost like a decade thing. Am I right or wrong?
I think they always, depending on the class, are going to have the players. The issue for Ed Orgeron, from what I'm listening to, and it doesn't make it true, but what I've been hearing is that now people are concerned that he made great decisions with the guys he took in last year.
But he's not. You see, this is
the guy to make those decisions. And he did make bringing in what he did with the offense, bringing in those guys was great. But does he have the ability to make Nick? I'll tell you what makes Nick Saban great. This is the truth. Nick Saban, when one of his offensive coordinator or defensive coordinators leave, he brings in another guy of similar ability.
Because if you look at that coaching tree and you look at how many of his assistants are –
that's a skill set, right? That's a really good skill set to have the ability to recognize, hey, this guy is an elite guy. Like, that's hard. So Bo Pelini, for example, who obviously has been a head coach, Ed Orgeron probably assumed that he would be an elite level DC. I'm guessing that's where he made his bread and butter before he became a head coach.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing I didn't look that up, but I'm guessing that's it. And now that hasn't posed to be the situation. So now the question is, how does he decipher? How does he do a better job after he ends up firing Bo Pelini, which he will? Because if he doesn't fire him, unfortunately, and honestly, I don't know other than anything about Bo Pelini outside of when he was Nebraska coach. He actually did a pretty good job as a head coach there.
Nebraska's a different beast. We both know that. We talked about that.
He actually did a pretty good job there. But being a coordinator, it's a different deal. He might be a better head coach than he is a coordinator. I don't know. Whatever.
I would love to see
the point is
Nebraska come back.
So the point is this: is that he's got to make the decision on who his next defensive coordinator is, and even what's going on with the offense. That and be able to find the guy who can lead in an elite level that the kids, and I mean the kids, but they're adults, obviously. The student athletes, the college kids can look to, that they respect, but also that they feel really, really is on top of the game and how it's played now. And at the highest level, that is the that is really, really a difficult thing in judging in hiring, because you could hire a guy that has tremendous experience and has had success at other places, but it may not translate today because things have evolved so quickly. And I'm not talking about offenses and defense. We have a crying child coming down. Um, I think this is the first in the podcasting world. Troy, can you do me a favor?
That was like a delayed.
Can you go upstairs and knock? The whole world is watching you. They're looking for a big boy here.
All right.
Father's in here. So
Ed Orgeron before Nick Saban. Got it.
Ed Orgeron. All right, next one.
In the next 3 years, who has more success as a program? Florida, Florida State, Miami.
Well, Florida's already having a little more success than everybody else.
Miami's right there. Quietly, Miami is right there. And I'm not saying that because, I'm a Canes guy, which, look, we talked about affiliations with teams. I will say I'm a Canes guy. But I'm just telling
two things, I think.
Oh, okay.
Come on.
We went from crying to laughing. That's good.
Two things.
Troy, it's going to be okay.
Santa's watching. Remember.
Oh!
Santa's watching. Always.
Always watching.
Santa's always watching. So I think Florida. Florida. Troy, you're crushing my segment here. You're crushing my segment, and we won't go to Barnes & Noble or Sonic if we can't behave.
Yo, how do I get on that trip?
No more Barnes & Noble. No Mini Yoda. I guess you don't want Mini Yoda. All right, then you're going to have to behave if you want Mini. No crying if you want Mini Yoda. If you cry, we just have to get in. Santa's watching right now. He's watching. He's making a list. He's checking it twice. He wants to find out if you're naughty or nice. Santa Claus is coming to town. All right. So Florida is my opinion. I think they're already there. The only question is whether their head coach continues to stay there or not, if he keeps having success. If he stays Florida. I see Florida State. Florida State to me is in big, big trouble. And why do I say Florida State's in big trouble? Their choices of head coaches
interesting.
It's not that they're not great head coaches. It's just I don't know that these guys are fits for Florida State. Florida State, let's think about what Florida State was before.
We talking Bobby Bowden?
Before these other coaches, when Bobby Bowden was there. Okay, Jimbo Fisher was a
holdover.
Even though he pushed Bobby Bowden out, he was a holdover from Bobby Bowden. So he's in this. He kind of familiar with the community, familiar how Florida State works. Let's go backwards 25, 30 years before Bobby Bowden got there. Florida State was terrible. Florida State was a doormat. Florida State is Florida State because of Bobby Bowden. Jimbo Fisher obviously won a national championship and had the ability to carry it on because he was kind of in that similar a modern Bobby Bowden, maybe I guess is the best way. Is Florida State actually a place that quote unquote will have a tradition long after these guys are gone, Bobby Bowden, and then, kind of his disciple, which was Jimbo Fisher. That remains to be seen because their picks after Jimbo Fisher have failed. And the guy right now, he was the guy at Memphis. He was great at Memphis. Their head coach.
Mike Norvell?
Yeah, he was at Memphis, right? Or was he? Yeah, he was. But he was.
I think so.
He was great at Memphis. Great, but it's gonna be tough. Florida State is in a unique area,
and now you're competing with. Look, it's always been tough, but now you've had the success of Miami in the early 2000s with their their tradition, but then you had Florida that was really good with Urban Meyer and those guys, and now
Miami struggled with the same thing that Florida State struggled with. But Manny Diaz,
I like him, man.
Has the best chance. He's doing well. He has the best chance of all the recent guys.
Right. Al Golden wasn't definitely not the right fit. That with Randy Shannon was a fit to kind of keep things going.
But I don't know. Randy Shannon just couldn't get. I don't know. Maybe he just didn't recruit. I don't know.
Which is hard to imagine because I know he was known for his recruiting. But like I said, you've also seen Miami
So I was gonna say is when you make the decision on the talent in recruiting versus when someone else is making that decision and then you all kind of agree as a staff, we're gonna go after this guy. So I think that part is very different as a head coach. I think the head coaches
because you're making that final decision.
You're making that final. We're gonna go after this guy. So these guys are presenting it to you. Right. Let's say Randy Shannon when he was an assistant.
Right. I really like this guy. Okay, well, I don't agree. I do agree. I don't. All right. Coach, what's the call? All right, we're going after him. Okay, good.
Right. So the parameters that head coach has for recruiting a player is different from coach to coach. So I think Manny Diaz it looks like, we'll see, but it looks like he might have the best feel of all the recent coaches for that in that Miami area.
I think he's nice and young. I think brings the energy and kind of, what Miami needs. I know they've put a lot of money into their facilities. They just got a brand new indoor facility that's phenomenal. I think what has hurt Miami in the past has been their strength program.
I don't know if that's still an issue. I have no idea, but yeah, I don't know. Look, in the 80s, obviously those guys were just great athletes and they could run. I'm sure they worked hard and all those kind of things, but they really had Jimmy Johnson really.
I just love the story that it used to be called Suntan U.
Yeah, and like it didn't start with Jimmy Johnson. It started with Howard Schnellenberger, who really also had a great feel for South Florida, even though I don't know where he wasn't from that area, but he had a great feel for it. Jimmy Johnson obviously had a great feel for it. Even Dennis Erickson had a very good feel for it. He got into more issues because sometimes he started to take guys that were even more issues than the other guys had. So it kind of haunted him in the end. But they all had a feel for how to handle it and how to recruit in South Florida. But there wasn't as much competition back then either. So not that Florida Atlantic or Florida International are as much competition, but you have South Florida, which isn't too good, but you have Central Florida. You have more schools in general. It starts to dilute.
God, you have so many.
It dilutes the talent maybe a little bit. I don't know. And so the long-winded way is saying I think Florida, with the coach they currently have, should have a lot of success.
I like Dan Mullen. I really do.
He was there. He was Tim Tebow's quarterback coach, offensive coordinator, I think, and under Urban Meyer.
He's been a head coach in the SEC.
He gets Florida. He gets Northern Florida. And see,
a lot of people don't realize how different the areas of all three of these schools are. Unless you've looked into it or been there. You know, you got Florida State, you got Florida, and then you got Miami, and you know they're a triangle as far as where they're located in this state, and
Three
there's
different places.
3 very different places.
Miami,
South Beach is sure as hell not Gainesville.
Miami has completely different dynamic. Florida State to me is much
They're more Alabama, Mississippi, Georgia.
Yeah, they're a deep South school much more than they are a Florida school,
right.
Even though they're called Florida State. And where they are in the Panhandle,
yeah, and it's the friggin' capital of the state.
And people don't realize that it's so far. Most of the players are in northern Florida and southern Florida, and to recruit,
Isn't it like
it's a hike to recruit.
Look, we drove from Fort Lauderdale to Gainesville. That was 5.5 hours, dude, and we were still in Florida. You know what I mean? Like people don't realize that.
Yeah, but Florida State is fun. I'll tell you that. So
last one, who wins? Who has put it? You can do it this way. Who wins more games next year? Rutgers, Penn State, or Michigan? Rank them 1, 2, 3.
Rutgers, Penn State, or Michigan. Who wins more games next year?
Or you can just rank them 1, 2, 3 if you want.
Is James Franklin in any hot seat at all?
I don't. That's a good question.
I don't know if he's in the hot seat or not. I feel like every year they always say he is, but he really isn't.
They said that what's his name, Dion Barbers at Syracuse isn't on a hot seat.
He's definitely on the hot seat. His seat is burning. I would say this. So, from what I've seen, what year is the quarterback for Rutgers that starts right now?
That's a good question. If you're going into that,
is he a grad transfer guy? Is that
that's what I would say? That's what I'm thinking.
Okay.
Are you QB?
So, as much as he's building it up, Noah Vidral. That is actually now he could go get a guy, which he may. Or he may, Noah Vidral is.
They also did just sign the number 1 D lineman in Illinois.
But that's good. Is he? All right. Noah Vidral is a senior. So here is my concern with Rutgers. If he gets a quarterback, I would actually say that he might go to number 1 there. If Art Sikowski have any more years? Like maybe Art Sikowski.
Yeah, I think he has years.
If Art Sikowski and Johnny Langan as a team, I guess, become those guys, awesome. I think if that quarterback situation, however they go about it, those guys step up to where they want them to be, and those guys, I think they'll be better than Penn State. I think if they don't, if that's a tough situation, quarterback wise, if for some reason it isn't in, I don't know if they try to go with somebody else. I don't know, like whatever. Let's say a quarterback situation does not work out as well as they'd like it to.
What's his name is also on the Broyles Award list? Gleason.
Okay, cool. So
So, he can develop and he can do some things.
So if they
say what year they are?
So my thing is, if those quarterbacks develop either with the guys they have on staff on roster right now, and John Langan, and they look good in the game that they played. If those guys develop and the quarterback situation continues to evolve and be good when Noah Vidral leaves, or they bring in someone that they think is great, whatever, then I think they'll be better. If for some reason it doesn't work out, which it looks like Gleason's doing a great job with these guys, but let's say for some reason it doesn't work out, then I think Penn State will be the one. I think Michigan is in some
the odd man out.
I think Michigan's in trouble because now they're the one that could turn it around the quickest, in all fairness. probably quicker than anybody because
Noah Vidal is a senior.
yeah, just because the ability that Michigan has to go get players, if they put their mind to it, is as good as obviously Ohio State. So
Sikowski's a junior.
yeah, Hart is so close. I feel like he's close. I don't know. I mean, look, I'm a big fan of Art because obviously, I'm definitely biased because I know him. So I'm rooting for him. But I look at it I would say right now, Penn State has been pretty consistently pretty good. And Michigan has a lot of things they have to work out. So I would say Penn State, Rutgers, Michigan. And then Rutgers has the potential to be ahead of the other two. I don't think they're very far away. I think that they're very close. It is the Big Ten. So Michigan, whether Harbaugh stays, if Harbaugh stays,
that's my next little.
If he stays and he's going to be under pressure, which means he'll probably step his game up. Okay, is my guess.
Who gets fired first, James Franklin or Jim Harbaugh?
Oh God!
Come on, man! If you want to be on this podcast and be this guy, you got to answer the tough ones.
I don't like doing the firing thing. I don't know. I don't think. I don't think either of them should be fired. To be honest, I think that they.
I hate how everybody is so quick to react.
I think they both deserve. First of all, to me, both Jim Harbaugh and James Franklin have earned their success level, which has been an elite success level, to kind of work out the kinks in their program when things aren't going the right way.
Why is everybody so quick to pull a trigger when things don't go well? Is that society?
I think the money involved, society. To me, it's ludicrous to fire Jim Harbaugh. It's ludicrous.
Is it instant gratification society where we need things right now?
I mean, I think that's part of it. Yeah, I also think social media mob.
God, it sucks, doesn't it?
They want to come after them, so I don't think that that's fair to those guys. There are coaches that are not maybe a good fit for a program, and mutually they decide to part ways. But I think Jim Harbaugh is a good fit for the program. Honestly, here's the issue with Michigan. Quarterback is the issue. So if they work out quarterback the way that they need to, they're probably pretty good. I don't know, Penn State. This is a weird year. Like I'm pretty annoyed with some of the hot spots that some of the coaches are put in. And obviously I'm a coach again, so I'm biased, but some of the coaches
are both biased,
but because of COVID is put every program, even Ed Orgeron, right? Like, and that's where I think him making the decision on his personnel post Bo Pelini, because the pressure on them to get the medical portion correct.
I'll give you a big one for this year. I don't think, unless it's something on a whole nother level, I think this year no one should be fired this year.
Well, Derek Mason already got fired, so
I know, but that's what I think this year should be a free pass year, unless you've done something or the both of you agree to it. I don't think it's fair under these circumstances that someone should lose their job based off of a lot of things more than normal that are out of their control.
I would say I agree with you 99% of the way. I would say the 1% of it is if someone didn't dedicate everything they could to be successful. So as long as they did do that, and I'm going to put it like this, like some guys figured out how to handle things really well. some guys got lucky.
Yes.
Some guys got lucky. A lot of kids maybe didn't get coronavirus or
Now, I know luck plays some of that into it.
There's a luck component to it. I mean,
luck plays into it, but have you prepared your program or have you instilled your culture?
As long as you prepared your program and you did all the things you're supposed to do, there is a luck component. Your star quarterback, look, Clemson loses their star quarterback, okay, and they lose a game. Now, the quarterback who went in is
I was just going to say, now the guy who went in is the number one QB in the country last year, but
if they weren't playing Notre Dame, they probably would have won the game. But their quarterback goes out, they lose the game, okay? What if he was out for 4 or 5 games of when they played, let's say, all their tougher opponents? Clemson loses 3 or 4 games. Are they saying, "Oh, Dabo Swinney doesn't know what he's doing"? All of a sudden, no.
He's all of a sudden he on the hot seat.
There are circumstances that are around this year in particular. So losing your star players, injuries because maybe they're not trained as good as they normally would be. There's a whole bunch of other components. So many factors to it. Like you saw today, there was a college player that opted out. I can't remember if it was college but opted out because he has myocarditis.
I saw that.
Yeah, I thought it was college. I think it was
college. I think it was. I don't even know what that is.
So so your star gets COVID. He has myocarditis. Decides to opt out. It's not that you recruited. Your next guy is probably good, but it's difficult to sustain that if you lose 5 or 10 of those kind of guys. And you're constantly shuffling at the college level. So I agree with it 99% of the way, only if a guy didn't do everything. Now, look, we don't know what happened with Derek Mason. We don't know, if they started losing, he just said, yeah, I'll do the best I can. But
put the girl in.
Maybe that'll change. Maybe that'll change our chances. I don't know. I don't know. But I do think first of all, I think most administrations probably will judge them, most of the head coaches, with necessarily a mulligan on a lot of the guys that struggle this year. But they'll probably have a shorter leash next year. So if it doesn't work out, again, I mean, Muschamp was fired. Derek Mason was fired.
Look at the NFL. I mean, you got Atlanta, Detroit.
I think the guys that are going to get fired are more a accumulation effect of
this has been a long time coming.
Right. Derek Mason's been there 7 years. He's never had a winning season. So this just kind of made it, it was more of a final straw. And I would say probably similar with Muschamp in that situation, even though he's a darn good defensive coordinator, but
maybe he's just not a head coach,
or maybe he's just not. Or maybe Clemson is the best.
Favorite video of Will Muschamp is when he's at Texas. He walks in the locker room, and if you could pull it up, he gives them the adjustment. We're got to go here, and then everybody just boom punches the board. Do your job. End the story. Set the tone, baby.
That video. So I mean that's kind of my take on it. I think that's how it'll be approached. If Guy had a losing year, let's say Jim Harbaugh's having a down year, but he's had a lot of very good years in front of it, then I think that's going to be an issue there. Now he may part because he wants to
choose to leave.
Because he sees he might want to do something different. Maybe I don't know what's in his head.
He want to go back to the NFL.
Well, does he feel like, what, I've done what I could do at Michigan. I think this is as far as I can go. Does he feel?
Or does he play that I'm an alumni here, I'm just going to ride this thing out? I mean, do you think that the trend
I think
staying in one place for a long time is gone?
Well, Nick Saban stayed in one place for a while. And I don't see Dabo Swinney going anywhere.
Not unless I think he wants to.
I don't think he wants to.
I wouldn't think so. But here's a very interesting thing, right? When Saban's out, does he go back to his alma mater?
I don't think so. I'll tell you why. Unless he is all about Bama. I just don't know how he feels.
I don't know if he is as a walk-on.
I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but I think that at Clemson, he is the king. He doesn't have to.
Say, he's got the keys to the Corvette.
If you're the king and you're already getting all the players that you want, why? I mean, where are you going to go from? Where are you going to go from Clemson?
And that's what I'm saying. What benefits do you get? Like where? Listen, you're playing for a national championship every single year. What's the difference whether you're doing it at Bama or whether you're doing it at Clemson?
I think he's going nowhere. I think Saban is going nowhere until he wants to. I think programs that are trying to figure it out and you have yet to get like the secret sauce, or I should say the secret sauce back would be like Tennessee.
Ugh, feels so bad. Like that program just they just can't figure it out, man.
The Tennessee.
They even went back to
Johnny Majors and then Philip Fulmer continued it. Okay.
Love Phil Fulmer.
Those two guys built a program. Then after that, they've had a hard time. They've kind of pushed Phil Fulmer out. And they've
thinking that they were going to be good going in a different direction. And it sometimes the grass ain't greener.
Yeah, I mean, I also wonder why they've never brought in what was the quarterback? He's a big time. I guess he got let go at USC, but I'll tell
you where they screwed up.
T. Martin. Why don't they take a chance on T. Martin?
Isn't he there?
Is he there as an assistant?
I think he might be there as a quarterbacks coach. Well, I'll tell you straight up where they screwed up.
T. Martin.
Greg Schiano.
Oh, yeah. Well, they could. Although we don't know if Greg Schiano would have been. I mean, obviously, he's a great fit for Rutgers, but you don't know. Let me see. All right. Let me see this real quick. T. Martin, you're right. Oh, he's not going to get the job.
Am I?
He's the assistant head coach and wide receiver coach, and I think that whole staff might get a.
Damn, I'm good.
See, I would have.
I'll tell you what's another interesting.
T. Martin is a Phil Fulmer guy.
Do you remember Marquise Tuiasosopo?
Yeah, of course.
Do you know where he's the quarterback's coach?
No. Washington?
USC.
USC is playing well. That guy was on the hot seat last year.
Helton.
But I see that. I didn't really completely understand that either because he hadn't yet gotten all his guys there, and he had done a good job. I mean, sometimes they jump the gun on a lot of cases.
Right. Like I look at a guy like Kevin Sumlin. Did well at Houston, not so well at Texas A&M, and then got a job right away in Arizona, and he hasn't done, like what's going on?
Kevin Sumlin,
and it's kind of like the point I made the other day is sometimes, and I heard it on the radio and I thought it was a great take, was sometimes, like I said, when you get fired from a job and then you right away get another job, you just jump right back into it. You don't get you don't give yourself time to evaluate as to what went wrong, as to why it didn't work out at this place or that place. You know what I mean? Like you just jump right back into it. It's like, and the reference was obviously Adam Gase with the Jets, coming right from Miami. But, some of these college guys do the same thing, whereas some guys leave, take their time. Now, whether they're just taking their time so they can get their buyout, all right, or they just jump right back into it. Like, there's something to say about guys who take a couple years, evaluate, maybe go be an assistant, maybe go do something else, and then come back to the game.
I don't know if I agree with that. I'm not sure if I agree with that. I think that I think that the issue comes in are you choosing the right program at the right time? And are you the right fit? And then, if you're real good, you can go to elite level. If you're not that good, it'll limit where you can your level. But I do think that like some of the guys have proven to get into the right situation. So, for example, Chip Kelly, I was skeptical of him going to UCLA because I didn't think it was
I didn't like it.
I didn't think it's a slam dunk.
I did not like it.
But he's starting to prove that he could do it. And there was a lot of
and it's taken some time.
And he
right? Was he there 5 years?
And he went from Oregon 3. He said 3. Oregon, he was obviously great. Then he was not good at the
in the league,
not good at the Niners, and jumped into
UCLA. I always forget that he went to the Niners.
Jumped to UCLA and struggled the first 2 years there, but it seems like he's getting it in the right direction. So I could be wrong there.
Listen, he got Nike back, so that's big.
Well, no. What happened was Under Armour dropped him.
Well, he still got Nike back. He didn't go to Adidas.
No, he did get Nike back. But my point is that
I think he has somewhat of a connection since being at Oregon all those years.
Yeah, I think he's doing a good job, and that I would have thought that may not be the greatest situation, but it's worked out that it is a pretty good situation. Kevin Sumlin, I don't know enough about him. I know he was a good OC, and then at Texas A&M started out real good. And
we also had my boy
Johnny. That was a plus and a negative for him. It was both a plus and a negative. He could never really establish himself as the leader when he had a bigger than life figure like Johnny Manziel.
How much money would Johnny Manziel have made if he was able to endorse himself as a college athlete?
He would easily make millions of dollars. He would have made millions.
Do you know who Kevin Sumlin's offensive coordinator was?
When he was at where?
Texas A&M.
Let me think.
Current NFL head coach.
Cliff Kingsbury.
Yes, sir. After seeing the picture of him on draft night.
Cliff Kingsbury is a good example. He went to his own alma mater, was not very successful.
And then immediately got an NFL job.
And is very successful because he has the guys that fit what he wants to do, and
correct.
His system maybe translates better to the NFL, where he could hire a top flight DC, not have to worry about anything with the defense. And just focus kind of on being a head coach,
kind of like a Sean McVay.
Yeah, I mean, it really is situation. It is fit. It's support. It's maybe timing. Like you're there at the right time with the right.
Now, trickling down levels, do you feel the same way as far as being a high school coach?
What's that?
The same factors and things that matter at those high levels, do they matter, or does one thing matter more than another at our level?
Well, I'm not sure what you mean.
So the things that make an NFL or a college coach great, right? The timing, the support, whatever
those things are important. I think that I think all of those things are important. I think that in high school, it's a different dynamic. A lot of times,
that's what I'm saying. What factors go into being successful in high school, and are they the same or different than at the higher levels?
Well, first of all, college and pro are different, and high school and college are different. So, at high school, you're working to get players out from your feeder systems and within the school.
The hallways?
Well, normally it would be the hallway.
The cafeteria, yeah.
Right now it's a little different, but normally, yes. And then you're developing your program in most cases within the players that you have. And the key in high school is how much you can get in and work in strength and conditioning and all those kind of things. I think those are key components in high school. In college, everybody's doing that. In high school, not everybody's doing it. So the ones that are going to, in general, have a chance for better success. Now, obviously, this is a unique year. The factors as far as a coach, I mean, I think
having that ability to do that extra stuff, weight rooms, things like that, come down to everybody being in line from administration top down.
I don't know that I think everybody has to be, in general, wanting the program to succeed. I don't think that everybody has to be in line, but I think if there's support to succeed, then I think you're okay. I think the issue lies in not if you don't get everything you want, okay? Because every coach wants more than they can get.
Of course.
But the issues lie in, do you get the things you need to be successful? As long as you're getting the things that you need to be successful, then you can build, and over time you'll be successful. In my opinion.
And I think you can find a way to make it work.
I think over time, because you look, the bottom line is if you can get the kids out and you can get them lifting and running and teach your system, then I think you're going to have a good chance to be successful. And if you're doing more things, you're just going to have a chance to be, elite. If you get a situation where people are working against you,
now you have a different,
and that's a different situation. So I think the importance of what you're doing, if it's understood and it gets back, then I think you're gonna have a good chance for success. As long as you go and get the players. Like, the bottom line is, if you don't go get the players, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how smart you are as a coach. It's the players create success. If they're working hard and you get the best players you can get out, as many, and I'm a big believer in numbers. Like, the more guys you get, the more guys you have a chance to develop and succeed in the long run. But it becomes a situation. That's the first part. The players coming out for the program and building that. That's step one. Step two is getting them doing everything that you want them to do. Step three is implementing your system. I mean, if you don't do 1 and 2, 3 doesn't matter. So, because you could have the greatest system in the world, if your players aren't out for the team and strong and fast, then it doesn't matter what your system is.
Gotcha. Coach,
all right.
Way to finish up there. I think it's, like I said, when it all comes together, I think it's a beautiful thing. But I think if you don't have support, around you with, and I'm talking everybody, not just administration, but I'm talking, parents club, everything has to be in line for everything to make it work.
It's time to build. Like, there are places that have it ready to go, and there are places that you need time to build it. And if people give you time to build it, then you can make it happen. So otherwise you get caught in a perpetual circle where you end up going nowhere, and every once in a while you're good, and then just kind of circles around. So you got to give people the opportunity to succeed.
Absolutely.
Anyway, that's it. Have a great night, my man. 2 hours.
Troy.
Bye-bye.
Later.